that moment came when I found a copy of the St. Ignatius Academy Student Handbook lodged in my mailbox. The hefty tome was filled with an endless list of do's and don'ts. From dress codes to behavior, every aspect of a student's life was under strict regulation. But what caught my eye was the school's policies on exposure to profanity, explicit content, and politically charged symbols. Apparently they were very conservative and borderline homophobic. A wicked grin spread across my face as I closed the book. Windsor wanted to play dirty? Well, two could play that game. The next day, I hoisted a flagpole in my front yard. The first flag to fly was a vibrant rainbow flag. The sight of it fluttering against the stark, uniform backdrop of the school seemed to cause a stir among the student body and faculty alike. From the corner of my eye, I could see Windsor's face turn as red as a ripe tomato as he saw the flag. Ah, the sweet taste of rebellion. Next came the music. I set up speakers on my porch and started blasting an array of rap music, each track filled with the creative profanity that only the genre can deliver. The booming bass and explicit lyrics echoed across the schoolyard, disrupting the usual order of things. The students were thrilled, the faculty, not so much. The assembly hall, once my bane, now served as a massive amplifier, carrying the explicit lyrics into every nook and cranny of the school. In a twisted way, I was thankful for the glass behemoth. Windsor tried to fight back, of course. The local police were summoned, noise complaints were lodged, and there were numerous attempts to take me back to court. But I was within my rights as a homeowner to listen to music in my home and fly any flag I wanted on my property. As long as I respected the noise ordinances, there was nothing they could do. A couple of months into my personal war against St. Ignatius Academy, I discovered a pamphlet that floated into my yard announcing the school's upcoming open day. It was the day when proud parents would tour the school, watch a grand assembly in the hall, and admire the exemplary learning environment their children were a part of. An idea, sharp and bright, struck me like a bolt of lightning. I scanned the pamphlet, noting the date and time of the assembly. I could hardly wait. The day finally arrived, bright and sunny, perfect for the spectacle I had planned. I watched from my curtain-shrouded living room as parents arrived, impeccably dressed and full of anticipation. They were herded into the assembly hall, taking their seats, and waiting for the show to begin. Then, as the school choir took the stage and the first notes of the St. Ignatius Academy anthem filled the hall, I made my move. With a dramatic flourish, I yanked open my heavy curtains. The entire assembly hall fell silent, their attention drawn away from the choir to my home. I could almost see Windsor's face paling as I gave the crowd a friendly wave. But that was just the beginning. I had spent the previous night transforming my living room into a gallery of everything that broke the school code. Every wall was adorned with political posters of all persuasions. Then, I rolled in my speaker system, pressing play on the most provocative playlist I could curate, explicit rap songs filled with socio-political commentary, anti-establishment anthems, and profanity-laced punk rock. The songs boomed out of my house, washing over the school grounds in a tidal wave of chaos. The parents were in shock, their eyes wide as saucers as they took in the spectacle. Some gasped, others muttered under their breath, and a few even got up to leave. Windsor tried to regain control, his voice echoing over the PA system, but he was drowned out by my music. It was a scene straight out of a madman's dream, and I loved every moment of it. The aftermath of my little performance was swift and explosive. Parents stormed out of the assembly, their faces red with fury. Complaints were lodged. Heated conversations filled the school grounds. Windsor was mobbed by irate parents demanding answers. The prestige of St. Ignatius Academy had taken a hit, and I couldn't help but feel a sense of satisfaction. For too long, Windsor had dismissed me, treated my home as an obstacle rather than a place filled with memories and meaning. Today, he felt a taste of the discomfort he had been putting me through. The fallout from the open house disaster was far greater than even I had anticipated. Parents were livid. Calls for meetings with the school administration turned into angry protests. The golden reputation of St. Ignatius Academy began to tarnish, and in a delicious twist of fate, I, Carlos Anderson, became the talk of the town. Parents started unenrolling their children. Word spread like wildfire, and soon the local news picked up the story. St. Ignatius Academy under siege by local residents' display of rebellion. One headline read. The once coveted school became associated with controversy and scandal. Windsor made desperate attempts to salvage the situation. There were promises of stricter security, higher fences, and more soundproofing for the assembly hall. But it was too late. The damage was done. Parents were not willing to expose their children to my unpredictable antics, and the enrollment numbers plummeted. Within a year, the once bustling school grounds became eerily quiet. Classes were being taught to near empty rooms. The sounds of laughter and chatter were replaced by an unsettling silence. The academy was on life support, and it was only a matter of time before the plug was pulled. One morning, I found Windsor on my porch. His face was pale and haggard, his eyes devoid of the confident spark they once held. "We're shutting down, Anderson," he said, his voice a mere whisper. I couldn't help but feel a pang of sympathy for him. He was a man who had tried to bulldoze his way to success, without sparing a thought for the lives he was uprooting. And in the end, he had fallen, defeated by the very man he had dismissed as a mere nuisance. "Do you have any regrets, Windsor?" I asked, meeting his gaze. He let out a sigh, his shoulders sagging. "Many," he admitted. "Including underestimating you, Carlos." And with that, he walked away, leaving behind the carcass of his failed venture. I watched as the school buildings were stripped of their insignia. The assembly hall, once the bane of my existence, now stood empty, its large windows staring at my house like a ghost. But there was victory in this silence. A triumph over a bulldozer that tried to raze my home. A testament to the fact that you can't put a price on a man's memories and history. Yes, my neighborhood was still changed, and I was left living in a ghost town. But it was my ghost town, and my home, with its old wooden beams and stories etched into every corner, was still standing, unyielding and resolute. I had won. Carlos Anderson, the last man standing.